It's even got the music and the ambiance. Those little breaths in my ear. Even the front entry hall, the place with some of the most light in the game, still feels so dark and eerie and gothic. This is a dream come true. I love this. Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Almost all of it, can you believe it? Now, I had previously explored a map that contained this area and a few others as part of the Halloween special. However, I ended up cutting it. You can see that on the Patreon when I learned that this map existed. A thorough recreation of most of this game's world, and I cannot wait to get started because when The Dark Descent came out back in like 2010 or something like that, it completely changed the world of survival horror gaming. And it did interesting things with its gameplay, or lack thereof, but another big part was the atmosphere. That game emphasized darkness and the lack of information about what's right in front of you so much. I still remember playing the early areas of the game and it being such a shock, such a movie theater effect when you manage to get to this area and it's your first sort of safe haven. And you learn that it is actually daytime. You would never have guessed. This whole game pretty much takes place during the day, but you'd never know because of how dark these corridors actually are. And it seems like this is more than just a recreation of the architecture. These textures, it is every bit as bumpy and hard and cold as the rest of the game. I can already feel that there is a lot of love put into this. But just like the base, we have a lot of different paths to explore, a whole castle in front of us, and no idea what's in it, so let's venture into the dark. And I cannot think of a better map to employ this particular assistance. No safety Glock, no flashlight this time. Only a lantern and a limited supply of oil. Oh, and all these candles on the walls. Candles and me are kind of tight, if you didn't know. Dude, this is so cool. It was a bit before their time. But can you imagine if this game had been in VR? It would have caused so many heart attacks. This is some advanced darkness. Can we pull that lever? No. I imagine we won't need to be solving any of the puzzles, so this should go a bit more quickly than a regular playthrough. I really thought there was another hallway down there. See, that was the cool thing about Amnesia. It really emphasized the darkness. With its sanity mechanics, sure, but also because since you had a lantern instead of a flashlight, it always feels like you're pushing back a wall of darkness. Like you're advancing, hoping that nothing will be advancing in the other direction. You really learn to cling to the light as a form of safety. And I like it when it takes something that you would naturally probably be feeling anyway and turns it into a full-fledged gameplay mechanic. I really like, though, also that it's not just like shallowly playing the music all throughout. Like, it understands that sometimes just wandering with the wind whistling through the cracks in this place is all you need. Amnesia: The Dark Descent had enemies, sure, but a lot of the time there weren't. They actually were very sparingly used for what it was, and that was also part of the appeal. Most of the time it was just you with the darkness and your thoughts, which is far more effective than constant chases, although it still brought in enemies enough to let you know that you weren't ever safe. It was actually far more scripted than it felt like, but, well, that's the thing about games. They are very illusory when it comes to horror. Oh, there's an open gap in the ceiling there. Actually, once you learn how the game works, it's actually very exploitable, but it never feels like that on a first playthrough. I still remember all the hype this game had when it came out, people saying it was the scariest game ever made. It was kind of the challenge game of the time, but you can't make it half an hour, or things of the like. I love those shifts in the ambiance as we cross these thresholds. The ominous music as we entered, then the wind, and now a low rumble that I can't tie to anything determinate other than my own nerves, like it's the sound of my pulse or something. Looks like this place has been thoroughly trashed. I'm kind of left-handed for the remainder of this video. Small gallery just for displaying this artwork. The owner of this place seems to have something of a preoccupation with torture. By the way, if you guys want to see me play this game for real, I have previously explored it on the channel, or played through, so I guess I can link that in the description. Interestingly enough, some of these works are covered. When it came to the artwork on the walls, these games have always had a thing with having details that are worth noticing, but that the game itself won't call your attention to. What is that? Some covered canvas? My God. I really just had a suit of armor jump scare. You know, it may be very Scooby-Doo of me, but I really don't think there's enough haunted castle horror media. You could actually consider Outlast to be a haunted castle story. This certainly is. They used to be all over the place, and they're just so sparingly used in the modern day. I consider Cure for Wellness to be a haunted castle movie. That's the thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be something exactly like this, but it certainly can be. The Heilwald Loophole is a haunted castle story. I would consider it that. Mad scientists and winding halls. Every once in a while I need to pick up the pace just so that I can hear my footsteps. I'm comforted by them at times. Seems like this whole area is just one gallery after another. I imagine in the base game we could probably smash this and read this note, right? Ooh, now this looks like a cozy spot. Look at this. A little hiding alcove right in the middle of the hallway. It's even got its own fireplace. Now this is a man of taste. I think the ventilation might leave something to be desired. Wonder if we can pick this stuff up. We actually can. That is cool. But as cozy as this place looks, I don't think I should stay. That is a really hard chair. But yeah, this is a very big map. It's the entire size of a game, in fact, and we should probably keep moving. It's a big set of doors for me to not know what's on the other side. But I can't make it through. Still, those moments where the windows aren't boarded and daylight shines through, always appreciated. What is this, a cave? How do you have a collapse like this indoors? We're above ground as far as I know. And then again, we never really did get a good look at the outside of the castle. You really could not ask for a better medium than VR to explore this, though. I mean, the graphics of Amnesia, while simple by modern standards, still hold up because, I mean, it's almost a little bit on the cartoony side. Everything is so exaggerated and, well, three-dimensional, which makes it translate really well to virtual reality. It's tactile, you could say. I mean, I can just imagine how satisfying it would be to run my hands over these stones. Here's the principal will see you now room. They're nice, but they do just sort of fill out space, don't they? This is totally collapsed also. But you know what? I recognize it now. I think this is actually where we started the game. Yes, this is the hallway that we woke up in. No idea who we are or what we're doing here or what this place even is. And we have to feel our way around until... Yeah, we've done this in reverse. Memories are all coming back to me. Oh, look at that. Even the chest's open. Hiding spots. I wonder if this map has nav meshes, because you could totally have some fun next spot chases on here. And here's where the game would normally really begin. See, the pacing was brilliant. It starts you off in the dark, confused, and not knowing even what you're dealing with. And out here, it offers you just a moment of respite, a moment to collect yourself, and also appreciate the scale of what you've wandered into. It's a moment that enshrines just how beautiful this game can be, and how trapped and helpless you are. And it's at this point that the world opens up considerably, because we could really go in any of these directions. But the ultimate goal, I believe, was to open the door down there, which we should be able to take whenever we want. In this case, last. Couple of directions we can go here. Man, this map creator is crazy to stitch all this together. It's obviously using a lot of assets directly from the game. I'm wondering how much of this is actual, like, brushwork in source, or if it is even possible to just port the thing over directly. Oh my, it's dark. You know, ever since I was a kid, this has been pretty much what I want from life. I think when I look at houses to buy, this is why I tend to prefer old houses. Not only because I think they have more character, that the architecture tends to be more interesting than modern design, but because I think I have always wanted to be that little old man in the sleep cap that dangles over the side of my head, just kind of holding my lantern or candle and walking up the stairs and down the hall at night after hearing a spooky noise. I think this right here, what I'm experiencing right now, is my version of gender euphoria. You know, kind of like how Colin Farrell's gender euphoria is dressing up in the penguin suit. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This is the chemical concoction. This was one of the puzzles, but thankfully we don't have to worry about any of that right now. I'm very curious, though. Alright, no, we can't read that. Maybe we could if we weren't in VR, but stuff like this tends to not work. But yeah, a whole lot of collapses everywhere, leading us to believe that this place is even bigger. It's the kind of thing where you like to imagine the splendor that this place must have had at some time in centuries past, but right now it's the home of just one old madman. And he doesn't make much use of the above ground areas, if you know what I mean. In a different context, it would sound like I'm saying he's dead and buried, but the reality is much worse. I open this door and am just confronted with a wall of darkness. Even with the windows over there, we can't see a thing. Ooh. It's a good thing this railing is here, because I would have stumbled right over the edge. And in some places, that is still a distinct possibility. Yeah, we might be able to see a little more clearly if I were using the flashlight, but come on. When am I ever going to get an opportunity that's this right for this lantern again? Some of these doors are just missing. Oh, there's meat hanging from the ceiling. And wait, I think I remember what this is. This is the place where all the servants, all the staff, were left to turn, poisoned, and left to morph into those creatures. And even in the GMOD version, those remnants are still here. That is so creepy. We can see all those bottles scattered around the ground. Some of this on the floor is wine, and some of it's blood. I was honestly half expecting a corpse to fall out of there. Okay, there must be something more. There's a door here. You know, in real life right now, I've got blankets up over my windows, the blinds are down, and I can just hear the rain tapping against the glass. It is storming heavily. Oh, this is the perfect evening to do this. And I say evening, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's already pretty dark. I don't know what it is. This winter in particular seems to be so much darker than usual. Can we climb up here? No, we can't. Not that there's really much we want in the rafters, except entire jugs of wine. Yeah, I should probably keep my wits about me for this. My stock phrase that I always say is that Garry's Mod has got to be the best bang for your buck on Steam, and yeah, that's pretty true. Definitely true, because look at what I'm doing right now. If you had told me when I learned about this game in 2008 that not only would I make a career out of it, but it would be a career doing stuff like this, I would think you were crazy. Like, even that game would be capable of doing this. 2008 was back when virtual reality was still some crazy sci-fi fantasy that I thought would never happen, or if I did get to experience it, it would be when I'm like 80 years old. The comparison I always like to draw... Did I close you? I'm sorry, did I tell you could close? That's unsettling. Oh no, wait. I haven't been here at all. Hang on. Oh, we came in through there. Alright, yeah. It's so dark I'm getting turned around. These torches are of little help. But as I was saying, the comparison I always like to draw is I wanted to have that virtual reality game from the Fairly Odd Parents. So I would have thought you were crazy if you had told me that not only am I going to get stuff like that, but stuff that's better than that, and within like 15 years. But I think that's about all there is to see in this area. And you know what? I am fine not to linger. You know, this is something brilliant that I've only just realized. Having this starting area be a hub, it not only makes the world feel more cohesive, more consistent, rather than just, like, you know, a video game where you move from one set piece to the next. It also means that you sort of plan your expeditions. Okay, right now I'm going to go over here with this objective in mind, and when I'm done with that particular section, I'm going to come over here and essentially come up for air, like from a dive. And it makes it all the more effective because it's someplace familiar by then, someplace you know, enhancing the feeling of safety. Every once in a while, the map ambiance plays the sound of that breath, and it really catches me off guard, sends a shiver down my spine. Shivers me timbers. But we're going upstairs. Oh wait, what's this? More boarded doorways. The more you learn about that story, the more those boarded doorways mean, too. I mean, over there, it just looks sort of like he's trying to keep the light out. But also, certain areas have been lost. He's lost control over some of these servants. That guy chooses to live a survival horror story every single day. But at least our accommodations have improved somewhat. Although there's a bit of a flicker from the lantern. Okay, is this map actually gonna have, like, NPCs or something? There's just a chorus of low groans echoing through here. Another reminder that this does in fact take place during daytime, and you do need constant reminders. Okay, no. You cannot have persistent breathing at the same time as this is happening. Did I just hear something get knocked over? Is there actually something here? Look at me bursting around the corner like I'm gonna do something. Like I'm gonna catch some monster off guard and take it down SEAL Team 6 style. Club it over the head with my lantern, leaving me in the dark. I feel like it's getting louder. I'll brain you with this egg thing. Oh no. You'll automatically put that away if I pick something up. Okay, this is my my safety egg. Jar, vase, urn. Come on, Grandma. You and me are gonna slay monsters one more time. Alright, this place. Even all this time later, there's certain areas that still stick out in my mind. Okay, on the mantelpiece with you. You can watch my back from here. Look at that. Why board just this window? Actually, let's have a look outside. That is so cool. There actually is an outside we can see along the walls of the castle. Whoops. No, I do not want the flashlight. That's an anachronism. Can't have those. Now, in a snackerism, I could go for that right now. I felt this entire time like it was getting louder, but now I'm not so sure. It's always stuff like this that I've sort of liked more, the sort of manor style, rather than the castle, but both are extremely atmospheric. Okay, I think we may have learned something in here, but ultimately what we had to do was jump through the wall. Actually, I remember this area quite well. I believe in the original scripting, we were coming through this area and it always felt just like this, like some creatures were just out of sight. This was the area that sort of introduced the enemies, but I don't remember if we ever even encountered them here. At least not directly. Either way, it seems like we've looped back around, and we should probably be taking our leave now, right? You know, this is a really cool map in a number of directions. First of all, because it is such a faithful recreation, but it's also making sure that each area captures what it felt like in-game, even absent the scripting. Usually I have to do the work of making a map feel spooky with commentary, but this one is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Still, I believe now is when we would have been able to enter the basement. The wind and the daylight have been distant company up until this point, but I think it's time for us to darkly descend into this amnesia. How are you doing that? Those ambient sounds are extremely directional. That was much more of a gurgle or a rasp than a breath. No, that sounds much more like an actual thing. It really sounds like there's something right on the other side of this door. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! There actually is! Oh my god! Go, 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 go! Go, go, go! Go, go, go! You can't open doors, right? You can't open doors! Alright, hang on, I'm gonna do something sick. Whoa! Ow. Close. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Okay. Okay, so, full disclosure. I figured that it might be fun to hide from some Amnesia NPCs during all of this. I mean, we had so much fun on the Walton Files map, right? Now, look, I still wanted it to be Explorer-focused. It's not going to be like the main game where they're everywhere. But I did do a blind no-clip run where I just sort of hit no-clip, you know, sort of squinted my eyes, flew through, and placed like 2 or 3 of these things. Just somewhere on this huge map. I guess we've gotten lucky up until this point. I don't know exactly how many or where, but, yeah. Well, so long as we don't try to go back out the front door, we don't have to worry about that one. Oh, boy. I literally, by the time we got here, I had forgotten that I did it, because it was like 45 minutes ago or something like that, and I had gotten so used to the sounds, but even still, that stood out as uniquely directional. And, I remembered in a big hurry, that's for sure. The walls here are so dark, I can't see even with the lantern, even with the local light sources. Now, I really wanted to have that because, of course, the enemies and your interactions with them are a big part of the Dark Descent and a big part of how it really changed horror gaming in that decade. Especially a couple years later with things like Outlast and so many copycats. Because survival horror up until then had been sort of defined by, like, the Resident Evil Silent Hill model of managing your inventory, of choosing whether to flee from or kill enemies. And this moved things not only into the more first-person perspective, but also making it so that you were helpless. You could only run or hide. And that's like most horror games now, but it was considered revolutionary at the time. And the fun thing is, that was just what made it popular, was the Dark Descent. In reality, Frictional Games had been doing that already for years prior with their Penumbra series. Which I will get to at some point. I've owned those games for years. I actually remember my cousin telling me about Penumbra, like, eons ago. This was before the Dark Descent came out, and I was fascinated by the idea of not being able to fight. Because my thinking at that point was, that's so cinematic. So often in, like, slasher films or other horror movies, the protagonist doesn't have anything they can do to kill the monster, at least not until the end. And so I was imagining just kind of crouching and waiting for things to pass, and as it turns out, the reality was even scarier. I do think it's kind of funny, though, that Frictional sort of built the whole idea of horror through helplessness, and just kind of the walking simulator narrative pace of these games. The entire industry followed suit in the wake of that success. And then years later, they come out with The Bunker and they say, just kidding, it's all about tight gameplay mechanics that make you feel like you're doing something. I mean, to be fair, although they certainly are inspiring a lot of new horror media with The Bunker, I think they were taking a lot of inspiration from Alien Isolation, of having one major enemy that stalks you relentlessly, and which you need to carefully manage your resources and plan your travels and make decisions about how best to survive, about what you can get away with. To be fair, I do think The Bunker did it a bit better than Alien Isolation, but it was also a smaller, tighter experience. But all this is me just kind of trying to procrastinate in climbing down into that hatch in the ground. Oh boy, it's this. Now, this NPC pack I downloaded did not have a water monster, but that doesn't mean the map can't do something. I still remember when this game came out, when I got the demo to see what all the fuss was about. I believe this was the part where I broke. This is where I tapped out. Actually, if I remember rightly, Spooky's House of Jump Scares also has a section inspired by this. And it is as terrifying. Up onto the... Nope, up onto the here. I can't tell if that's a soundtrack or a screeching. Up here. Okay, now, in the actual game, what we needed to do was pull this lever, and that would open something. I think we also needed to be quick about it. I think it might have been timed. I can probably just walk through here, or this thing would have set upon us by now. But it wouldn't be in the spirit of Amnesia, would it? That's just always been the goal with horror games, though, hasn't it? The goal is always to make you feel like a horror protagonist. Games always talk about wanting to be cinematic, and you would think that's almost paradoxical, right? I mean, games are games and movies are movies. But what people really mean is they want things to play out as if they're scripted, yet knowing that it's entirely dynamic. And that's very, very difficult to do. Because game mechanics need to be consistent. You can't always get these like crazy Hail Marys like protagonists so frequently do. It's the kind of thing that just doesn't really translate to real life. And so you need to fake real life in a way. I still remember a particular moment from my playthrough of The Bunker where there was like this narrow staircase that led up to a small room, and I was in there searching around, and in that moment, oh no, I can hear the monster coming. I really don't remember if it was following me before or if it just kind of happened upon me, but I knew it was coming and I knew I wouldn't be able to hide. So what I did was I got behind the door and I waited for this thing to come in, and I just watched as its huge hairy mane just peeked in through the doorway, and I was standing right to its side. It was so big it was almost filling the room at that point, and I just pulled out my revolver with my couple of bullets and I shot it, leading it to be stunned for just a moment, and I basically jumped up and like climbed up and over the monster and ran down that narrow staircase. That was cinematic, and what they've done, the way they've simulated cinematic in that game, is they've made it so that you have a toolbox that enables you to create those scenarios and world design that allows for them. That's ultimately what so much of cinematic gaming comes down to, is being able to create the situations where a cinematic event is likely. Oh boy, there is nothing to stand on. This is just a mad dash out of here. Oh no. They spend this entire section building up. Staying on land is safety. You gotta keep your feet dry. And then just this one marathon where you have no safety. It's just run. Run for your life. Yep. And out into an area that is very much reminiscent of the first. Oh wait, hello, is there somebody here? Oh, it's part of the fountain. Look at that fountain. Horror baby, is this your evolved form? Have you been eating from the interdimensional vending machine again? I warned you about that thing. Its prices are outrageous. Even the soundtrack in these sections is so much more relaxing. It's actually funny how they found that balance where it's still gothic and creepy, but lets you know, in comparison with everything else, that now is a time to rest. The light, the water, the music, it all serves to restore us. Even the jolt that we get from those stone legs is quickly assuaged, and we know that this is our new home base. Actually, given where we just came from, it's kind of like an air pocket at the bottom of a sunken ship. But let's continue our search for nothing in particular. Oh. I think we've got somebody new. And I don't think stealth is a factor. I was kind of hoping that could be a thing. Oh my god! You were pulling a... You hid behind the door. You were listening to what I said. Well, I don't want to trap you in safe haven, so I'm gonna have to trap you elsewhere. Run, 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 run. There you come. I saw your silhouette at the top of the stairs. Let's go. I wonder how well you're able to navigate to me. Great, we've just trapped ourselves in. Perhaps this can become your tomb? Yeah, you guys aren't working out as cinematically as I would have hoped. That first one did. Oh, oh, look at your eyes! Oh, have you always looked like that? No, go, 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 go. Nope. No, no, no. This way, this way, this way. Get in here, you. Oh! No, no, no. Oh, go, go, go. No, 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 no! I ended up in the dark. I think I accidentally took out the flashlight for a second. I tapped the stick. I was just fumbling around in the dark while a bunch of cartoon noises played. Whew. Okay, well, I know I didn't place that many of you. It's unlikely that there will be more here. Although, not certain. You may be trapped, but there's nothing I can do about your snarling. I can't seem to open this one. Well, I'm grateful for the wind. There's light over here. Oh. Looks like some kind of storeroom. You know, not for nothing, it really is a nice place, but you're one person and there is a lot of wasted space. It's crazy how suffocating the darkness can be, even in small rooms. And you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of these candles would not be lit by default. I'm pretty sure we would have to do that ourselves at the expense of matches, so the base game would actually be even darker than this. We've got our rotting pigs. Oh look, they form a heart. That's cute. Yeah, this way. What is this? Some kind of burning plant? I don't remember this. And the gears for some huge machinery. A machine for pigs, perhaps? I'm still pissed about that. So I actually did do a full playthrough of A Machine for Pigs. Maybe I'll re-upload it at some point, but I got copyright claimed for the whole, like, ending, pretty much, which is absolutely ridiculous. And so, yeah, I pulled that, and I think you can still watch it on Patreon in the meantime. I had it all planned out, too. Like, you know, that game takes place at New Year's, and I uploaded it going into 2024, I think? You're still not going to open? Okie dokie. That's rare. Yeah. So long as you stay put, we'll be good. Going down the stairs by lantern light. Certainly a vibe. I'm actually kind of surprised there hasn't been an attempt at an Amnesia VR game, or at least an Amnesia-supported game. But I guess it comes down to the fact that, like, the market for VR games has always been small, you know? It's expensive, it's intrusive, and while that market is growing, we're probably not there yet, where you can have, like, mainline games that don't support flat screen. Seems like this is mostly empty rooms, or empty by our standards. You gotta remember, this is all without the scripting, so normally there would be reason to come here. I think that reason has been exhausted. If you ever manage to break that door down, at least you've got rotted pig carcasses to eat. But we are back here, and I'm gonna just add that extra layer of protection between you and me. I think next up we go upstairs. Wow, the cool light coming through the windows was doing some weird things against my lantern light. Now this is inner sanctum energy. Look, there we go. Right, I believe in the game, these were my quarters, right? They were my quarters or his, I don't remember. Maybe I just really wanted it to be mine. I mean, do you know how much more productive I would be if I made videos in a space like this? You even got a walk-in closet. Ooh, look at that, we can see a key inside there, or something of the like. And it vanished. But it does break. Okay, then who's next door? Imagine waking up every morning and walking out onto this. It's like having your own outdoor balcony, but with a cobblestone roof on top of it. You know, it's kind of like fire safety. Putting your hand on the door to feel if it's hot on the other side. I just have to stop and listen to know if there's a monster. I hear something against the wind that sounds like machinery. Nothing here, and these windows are too fogged up for us to see out of. Too fogged up and dusty. Look at how cool that is. The light actually falls differently on either side. And given the size of this place, I imagine that's not true outside. There's probably a courtyard where the building itself blocks most of the light. I can actually just barely make out some features over there. But right now I'm more interested in what's making that buzzing sound. Oh, we found where all that wind is coming from. Oh, right. I believe what we had to do was break this window, right? Shimmy along the outer edge? But maybe we don't need to do that here. Right, the taxidermy room. I don't know why I'm startled by anything in this place. There you are. You know, there's an alternate version of this portrait that's supposed to be the nightmare version. This one's pretty uncanny itself, now that I get to see it this big and up close. You look like you're wearing a skin suit that doesn't quite fit. It's Jason Statham. Walking these halls with the howl of the wind is some of the best I've felt in Gary's mod. I'm not gonna lie. Imagine doing this for the mansion from A Machine for Pigs. I wonder if anybody's done that. There's a broken window. I can't seem to pick up the chairs. Can I pick up this memory? I can't. Can I step outside into the dark? Oops. Kinda. I kinda can. It's not exactly difficult platforming. It's not exactly platforming with a point either, but we're doing it. I can just barely make out the trees down there in the moonlight. I can see them just enough to know how deadly high up we are. Wait, let's see, can we? Ah, we can break it. Awesome. But, next question. Can we make that jump? Yep, sort of. Once more, it's not exactly a meaningful move. We can do it, though. We can go along there as well. I don't think we can make that one, though. I think that might be a window too far. We can pretty much just hop back in right here. No problem. I do believe there's only one door left for us to check out then. And that's gonna be over here. 'Cause I ain't going back, that's for sure. Goodbye, probably for good, safety. We never did figure out what was making that noise, but maybe it's something that bled through the walls? Ooh, look at you. See, this game always had sort of a clash of eras, didn't it? Something from, like, medieval times right up to the industrial age, and maybe even all the way back to ancient civilizations of various cultures, and even those you haven't seen. It's the elevator. What I heard may have been the grinding of this machinery, though this door does not seem to open. So let's see if this elevator actually works. Hey, look at that! It does! I mean, it's just a teleport, but it actually does. Dude, we in about an hour have come through the entire game. Oh, this, I think, was the dungeon. Oh boy. Yep, we have reached maximum darkness now. Now there's no sunlight to accompany us. No wind, and now that I think about it, not even the sound of the burning torch. Well, not no sunlight, just incredibly inadequate. And it's not even supposed to be here. It's just a failing foundation that betrays it. These cells are here. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's any Patrick Stewart Emperor coming to save me from this fate. Wow, it is, even with the lantern, it is nearly pitch black. This whole side is collapsed. Man, look at that. This map is absolutely gorgeous. It's preserved so much of the lighting. Like so many maps, the lighting design is just there to make it so that in any given area you can see what you're doing. But the good ones are really artistic about it, and this is one of those examples. I can't seem to open this door. Unless it demands a key or something, which I doubt. You never know. Collapse. Yeah, it is really difficult to know where I'm going right now. This lantern is not doing much for me. Oh, there we go. All these things open towards me for some reason. This one doesn't open at all. Oh, yeah! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Close! You're something different. Oh, look at you! You're trying to break through. Okay, we won't go that way, my god! The grinding of your metal components, you're like a rudimentary cyborg. Of course, at this time, it requires black magic, a healthy dose of that to keep you alive. One cool thing about Amnesia is that it's always kind of ridden the line between science and magic. There's a particular way all of this works. It has that trans-dimensional stuff to make it seem like, well, you know, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And all that is kind of explored more in the, in my opinion, very underrated Amnesia Rebirth. Okay. I don't know what else we do without opening that door. There's a bit more to see, and we won't get to see it unless we face this thing. Up here, it's all just cells, and I think we're gonna have to do another switcheroo. But the thing is, just like in that entry hall, a switcheroo is essentially just putting you behind me, sealing my path. Right this way. Come on. We need a place where we can juke you out. You're very fast. Here you come. Ugh. Come on, man. Out and around. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Why am I feeling so slow all of a sudden? Broke line of sight, but I can still hear you coming. That's right. Now would be the time for you to reveal that you can knock this down. And you know, I bet on a regular map you probably can, right? Because you're trying. Okay. Well, let's not tempt fate any longer. Your sounds are absolutely horrifying, and you're hideous, and you know what? This is pretty much the first time I'm really seeing you. The Dark Descent had that sanity system that made sure that if the darkness and the desire to stay alive weren't enough, it would kind of blur your vision and do sorta pseudo damage to you if you tried to get a good look at the enemies. It was kind of cool because it meant that you never really did get a good look at them. What is this? There's a distinct red glow. And something bubbling up over here. A horrid concoction. I mean, you could sort of criticize the game for being a bit arbitrary in the way it obscures you. Like, that sanity system, in my opinion, isn't like the best thing in gameplay, but it works for what it is. It's just that I do think that the darkness is, in a lot of ways, enough. I mean, the level design kind of does keep it so that you'll never really get a good look at them. Especially as the game goes on. Oh, daylight. It's like being rained on in the desert. Still, these hallways are so redundant in a lot of areas. I remember being kind of stuck in this area for a long time when I played. It's certainly a place where hope is smothered to death, which I suppose is the architectural intention. I mean, even if you did manage to get out of your cell, where would you go? Man, it just never ends, never stops looping. I think here there were like several things we needed to find, all while enemies patrolled around. Oh, there's a door there. It just looked like a bunch of darkness. Where are we going? I think this may be our exit. Yeah, that seems pretty likely. What was once a dungeon becomes a gauntlet for all those who would dare seek you out. After all, I believe we learned in documents that those in the village already consider you something of a monster in the woods. But I believe that's the end of what's here in this map, which is pretty good because this is like a good few hours into the game at this point. This was a lot of fun and really lent itself to exploration in VR. It was known as one of the most atmospheric games ever in its day, and being able to actually be here with all the sounds and ambiance and really cool lighting, while still having a commitment to darkness, well, Garry's Mod is a game that gives us the tools to combat that darkness in the appropriate way. Or any way we want. What do you say we find out if these enemies have health? Hey, bud, I'm back. Come on now, where'd you get off to? I know you're around here somewhere. Huh. Knowing you're here, but not being able to find you is actually pretty creepy in its own right, not gonna lie. Where have you gotten off to? Oh, there you are! Look at that, you actually react to being shot! I forgot I had that mod enabled. Oh, you're on your deathbed. I'm so sorry I've done this to you. Ooh, look at that. I've just realized we can see little tufts of hair on you. I don't think your chances are very good if that's the blood we're giving you, although maybe that's precisely what someone like you needs. Oh, there you go. Fading out like a Jedi. But yeah, this was living out a personal dream here. Getting to experience gothic horror through my own eyes. Not to mention the nostalgia of returning to Brennenberg Castle, alongside everything that made it so spooky in the first place. And that's what I love about haunted castle stories. It's not just terrifying, it's not just creepy, it's spooky. Good old-fashioned spooky. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.